jump or turn back around. Got a feeling that this could really be just one step forward. I'll be free, I'll be free.
Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of DisabiliTV. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Denise, coming to you from Seattle, Washington, and we have a very special guest today, Gregg Beratan, who's joining us from New York City, New York. Hi, Gregg.
Hello.
And our on-air comment moderator today is Alice, coming to you from Savannah, Georgia. Hi, Alice.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to our first ever episode. If you're new to BTV, I just want to introduce the platform really quick. It's such a great platform for us. Obviously, it's on YouTube, and there is a live. We're live. There's a live chat room for you to enter. Please go in there, share your comments, your questions. We have people working behind the scenes to help you out there. And if you have any questions for us or Gregg, please put them in there, and you might see yourself on screen. If you're on an iPad, I noticed the YouTube link. You have to go to the very bottom and click join. I think it's join chat or something like that, and then it should open up for you. So please join us. I'm Denise. I'm disabled. I became disabled at the age of 13. I was diagnosed with bone cancer, and my right leg was amputated above the knee. And then I underwent many years of chemotherapy. And I'm not a professional. This is live, and I'm very nervous, so please bear with me. I'm going to take some breaths. I'm just a concerned disabled person that likes to talk to other people and want to share information with you, and I hope you enjoy what we have for you today. We have some news we're going to go over, and then we're going to have a conversation with Gregg about his hashtag #CryptTheVote. So let's get started. The first little article I grabbed was a nice warm article I thought would be great to open up with. I missed the Grammys this year, unfortunately, but I wanted to give a shout out to Stevie Wonder, and he was presenting for Song of the Year. I don't know if you missed it, but he made a cute little joke. The little envelope that has the winner's name on it was put in Braille, and he joked to the other people, "I'm the only one that knows who won." So it's kind of cute. But then he stopped, and he made it a teaching moment, and I thought this was great. I just wanted to share the quote in case you missed it. He said, "I just want to say, before saying the winner, that we need to make every single thing accessible to every single person with a disability." And I just thought that was great. I wanted to give him a shout out. Gregg, you had a couple comments about that.
Well, I mean, just some background on that. I think I don't think he explicitly said this, but I think the context was that the Marrakesh Treaty, which was passed by the UN in 2013, was introduced to the Congress for ratification, I guess, on February 10th. Mm-hmm. And, it's about making print accessible. It's about making printed materials accessible to blind and visually impaired people. And so, I think that was partially behind it.
Yeah.
He's spoken at the UN. He's worked with the UN, I think, on some of this. So.
Yeah, the article mentioned a few. I was not aware. I knew he did some advocacy work, but that he does hold quite a few positions. I was a little surprised. I've always been a fan of his music, so I'm just learning a little bit more about him myself. So shout out, thank you. It was a great teaching moment, I thought. And just really quick, I just wanted to also give a shout out to Channel 4 in the United Kingdom. They have declared that 2016 is going to be Broadcasters' Year of Disability. I don't know if a lot of you have you ever watched UK TV, but they still have soap operas on, and they have mentioned that they're going to make a greater opportunities for people with disabilities to come on and be characters and join, like real America, right? I'd like to see the US do this also. That's kind of why I grabbed this. Being an amputee, I've seen a lot of film and video where the character is an amputee the entire time. And I know a lot of amputees that are excellent actors, and I don't know why they're not being hired for those type of jobs. They're investing £300,000. And they just, there's some great quotes in here. I won't get too far into it. I'm going to link all of these news stories down below so you can read them all when we're done here. There's a cute picture of one of their soap operas, so I will link that down there for you to read. Alice, is there anything going on in the chat?
Hey, let me just take a look here. People are saying they're super excited about this show. A lot of props for Crip the Vote.
Great.
And they had a guest suggestion, Amy Sequenzia, for another show.
Excellent choice.
Excellent choice.
Let me add really quick that if anyone watching, if you have any questions, comments later you think about, you can send me an email at disabilitv@gmail.com. Or you can always use the hashtag DisabiliTV. I'm on Twitter, so if you have news stories you want to share, that sort of thing. This show, I really chose this kind of a platform. About a year ago, there was a law that was coming up before Congress that was going to affect my life greatly. And I didn't find out about it until about a month or two after it was voted on, and I was really upset about that. I consider myself pretty well-read. I try to read newspapers and magazines. It's hard with the internet. There's so much information, but I don't feel like the disability issues are getting out there as quickly, because personally I want to know before the vote so I can contact my congressperson and tell them how this is going to affect my life. They need to know that. So that's kind of that's why we're here, and to bring fun news too, and a community for you to talk to each other and make friends. So this is really all about you guys. So I hope you're having fun in the chat room. How's it going, Alice? Sorry.
We did actually just have a question come through.
Oh, great.
And I did not hear about this news story, but apparently, is it Kylie Jenner had a magazine cover where she was in a wheelchair. I don't know if she's disabled or not, but
she's not.
Okay. So yeah,
do you want to take that, Greg?
What was the question? Sorry, I
just wondered how you felt about that being in the media. So yeah, yay or nay? Is it tacky, or is it, awareness raising?
I mean, my first instinct on seeing it was the idea that this person's trying on disability like it's an accessory, trivializing it in some ways. I mean, I've heard arguments both for and against. I can't say I was a huge fan of the images. I was a fan of a lot of the images that came out afterwards of disabled people dressing in similar garb and giving their best poses and taking her to task a bit. But I think more people came down on her. I'd say as to blame as the media. I mean, whatever magazine chose to put it on, I think it was Interview, needs to think a little more.
I agree. Well said. I think.
I mean, when was the last time Interview had a disabled person on its cover, too?
That's the question, isn't it? That's speaking of. Actually, that goes right into the next article. There's a young British designer. She's now living in New York. She went to school here. Her name is Lucy Jones, and she was just named Forbes 30 under 30. She has a cousin who's disabled and was having trouble dressing himself. And as a fashion designer, she thought, hey, I can solve that. So she has created a line. And this article, I'll link again on the bottom. It has some great pictures. She had a cute quote here. She said, quote, "I remember thinking how strange it was that I'm at one of the best design schools in the world and we're not tackling these issues. I realized that we in the fashion industry need to create more accessible solutions in clothing." And big kudos to you, Lucy Jones. Shoes. I'm an amputee, and shoes is our issue. But also today I just saw that Tommy Hilfiger is coming out with a line for children, disabled children, that's going to have more Velcro and things like that to make it easier. So, yeah, more fashion. Being a girl, I appreciate that. Greg, you probably don't care one way or the other.
No, but there are a growing number of designers that are seeing this need, and you know, I mean, I just look at the folks I see online, and there's a significant, you know, body of people doing this work now.
Yeah.
But you know, we need to get the word out so people have access to the fashion that's there.
And reasonably priced too. I would imagine that the Tommy Hilfiger, I didn't look at the prices. They're probably a lot. So one other quick, I just wanted to bring this up, and again I will link this down below for anyone who knows of anyone. This is a great great club. I just wanted to bring your attention. I'd never heard of it. It is for adults with developmental disabilities. It's called the Next Chapter Book Club. And being a book lover, as you can see, I was drawn to this article. I'd never heard of it. They're based out of Columbus, Ohio, and they have 250 individual book clubs across America, Europe, and also in Israel. Each club is composed of 5 to 8 participants. And then they usually have 2 trained volunteers. So they have a website. It is nextchapterbookclub.org, all spelled out. And I'll go ahead and put that down below too. It sounds like a great program. They meet in cafes and they read books out loud to each other. It's kind of it looks like it's a step beyond high school. So they're helping people that have gone through high school and are looking at the next step, but it can be any reading level. I'm sure they're looking for volunteers too, so just wanted to put that out there. How's the chat room, Alice?
Oh, sorry, I keep muting myself.
It's okay.
You're surprising me. Someone did have a question, but it's about you, and I wasn't sure if you are comfortable answering questions about your situation or not.
Go ahead. Sure.
Okay. Somebody asked, Hannah Smith LaFriends asked if you had osteosarcoma,
Yes.
and she said she had liposarcoma.
Oh, a sarcoma buddy. Yeah, it was osteosarcoma.
Okay, I have no idea what that is. I mean, is this a kind of cancer? Is it, what type is it, just so we can cover the bases?
It's a bone cancer that usually hits teenagers going through their last major growth spurt.
Okay.
And it's usually in the knee or the hip. It's in a joint, usually. Back in the 80s, amputation was all they had, so yeah. Yeah. So John, if you could queue up the ASD video, I'm going to go ahead and introduce that to everyone. We have a member who's working behind the scenes in the comment room. He goes by Erg, or Duke is his official name. He's Erg in the chat room. And this is kind of a little introduction he is hoping to do in further episodes. He has Asperger's, and he brought up this video and wanted to share it with you all. And I think it's a great video to watch. Do we have that, John?
Hang on, no, I don't have it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
Okay,
an
move on to a different thing and I'll get it. I apologize. I thought I had the right site. This is the embedded. Wait a minute. This is
it's an
what link are you talking about?
AA8
One.
live TV, folks. That's okay. We can go on to another story. So let me bring the story up really quick. In Maryland, I hope this happens all over federally. I read this and was so excited. Maryland is the first state now to require disability training for all of their police officers. This came out of a very sad story. It happened in 2013. A young man with Down syndrome went to the movie theaters with his I guess he had some family with him, and when the show was over, he didn't want to leave. And unfortunately, the situation just escalated. Police were called, and he passed away. The disability advocates in Maryland, kudos to you guys. Within a few years after this tragedy, you got together, they created this whole disability sensitivity training, and now it will be a requirement for all Maryland police officers. The most important thing I thought when I was reading this story was the program wasn't set up just here's a disability training program, go take it. It is actually being taught by people with disabilities, and they're going out and trying to find as many different disabilities as they can for people to come in and say, hey, you know, this is how I am, how I need to be related to. I live in a little suburb of Seattle, and I was lucky enough to participate in a ride-along with a police officer, and I did actually speak to him a little bit. A lot of their calls are domestic situations. They're strangers coming to a home where there's, heightened, stress. Somebody might be under the influence of something. And I asked them, I said, what do you do if somebody's deaf and they can't hear, your orders, or somebody is autistic and may not be able to respond right away? And they're very nice officers, and I love them. I love my community, but they weren't knowledgeable about a lot of those situations. And this, I hope if you get a chance to read it, if you know a police officer, pass it along, because it sounds like a great program that can help save a lot of heartache and stress for both involved, both the police officers and the people they're there to protect.
And this is so needed because the ableism within police forces is ridiculous at this moment. I mean, I think there's some estimates that have the percentage of police shootings involving disabled people of some sort over 50%.
Yeah.
And so, I think this is a start, but there's so much more work that needs to be done. David Perry, who's a wonderful scholar and journalist, currently working for Al Jazeera and writing for other outlets, has written a ton of work on this, and I'd wholly recommend people check out his website. I think it's called This Mess.
Okay.
I can get you the link to put up.
Yeah, we'll get that for you, and we'll put it down.
He's also on Twitter at Lollardfish, LOLLARDFISH.
Okay. I'm writing that down. We'll put all this down below for you. Later. It might take a little bit for me. The links will be there right away. But this is a really important issue. If you ever get a chance to do a ride along too, I highly recommend it. And talk to your police officers. Often they just don't know people with disabilities, and they sometimes don't think about it. It can really help. Yeah. Thank you for that.
That's why I talk about institutional ableism, because I think it's not necessarily bigotry or active discrimination, but the unquestioned assumptions that people make about disability and what it means, how it shapes their practices. We see it in schools, we see it in the police force, and many other fields.
And a lot of times it's just a lack of education, I think. Would
I
you
agree.
agree?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and lack of experience.
Experience, yeah. Well, that's, yeah. So kudos to Maryland. Again, yeah. Let's see if we can. I will link that article too, so everyone can have a look. How's the chat room, Alice? Are they talking about that?
Yeah, we have a couple of comments, and actually, I'm gonna jump back. I missed a question last time, so we have two questions. One is about the police issue,
Okay.
and it was actually from Erg is it Erg or Erg?
Yeah.
Anyways, he says, should a police force not be about protect and serve? What happened to the serving part? And that's a pretty good point, actually. I mean, obviously, we're here on Bernie TV, and Bernie, one of Bernie's things that he likes to say is that the police force should look like the community that it serves.
Right.
And that's one of the things I really appreciate that, because I live in a city with a lot of gun violence, and there's a lot of mistrust of the police. So yeah, and I feel like in terms of disability issues, there's definitely a lack of, it's just not on anybody's radar. Like, people just don't think about it. It's so culturally marginalized that people don't even realize that they're being exclusionary, So,
Right.
And the other question kind of lightens it up a little bit. Cynic Girl wondered, for you, Denise, do shoe manufacturers specifically sell a single shoe?
It's so funny you asked that, because I wear a prosthetic, so I do wear two shoes.
Okay,
But
cool.
there's a lot of amputees that decide, they don't want to, or they're unable to comfortably wear a prosthetic. And there's actually been, with the internet has been wonderful. There's kind of shoe trading clubs where a left leg and a right leg amputee, they'll trade shoes back. So
I was kind of hoping you would say something like that, because I was like, what a terrible waste for all these homeless shoes. I have a friend who lives in Alaska, and she said that they every once in a while, like some stuff will go overboard from a ship, and it will wash up on the beach. And one year they got tennis shoes, like tons and tons of tennis shoes just washing up on the beach. So people were advertising in the newspaper like different sizes, and I was like, I'm sure that there's got to be something like that for amputees, or awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. John, did we want to run that video now, or no?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
We can do that now.
Take a quick break. Thank you. That was so powerful. Erg, thank you so much for sharing that video with us. He is hoping to take that and create some segments for us, talking about the autistic, ASD, the autistic spectrum disorders. He is in the Netherlands, so.
Can you go away with the D on that? There's nothing disordered about being autistic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's what.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I mean, and I direct people to groups like the Autism Women's Network and ASAN before I would go to the Autism Society, although there are some good people working with the Autism Society as well.
Thank you, Greg. I didn't know that. Thank you. So yeah, he was gonna hopefully do a little segment for us to introduce this, because obviously I don't know a lot, and that's what we're all here for, is to learn. I'd like to learn more about all the different disabilities, and I'm learning a lot just talking to everyone and spending time with you guys and answering your questions. So I really want to, I guess we're going to go right into some politics. So thank you, Bernie TV, for hosting us. This is they are a political channel, and so we're going to go right into that really quick. This one's just a really quick, it's already passed. I just wanted to let any veteran know who's watching. It's called the Franken-Walz, W-A-L-Z legislation. It passed the House of Representatives, it says last week. This is from February 15th, so that would be 2 weeks ago. I have not read the complete bill, so I encourage you to. It basically, it still is not the greatest from what I could read, but if you are a veteran that is waiting to go through the disability process and you haven't been able to get a meeting with a doctor, it sounds like there's a backlog that's quite long. It says if you've been waiting 125 days or more, which sounds terrible, this bill now says that you can go to your local doctor and get that process started there. So I just wanted to, I will link this, so if you want to investigate it further. It did pass. Greg, do you know anything about that?
No, it's first I've heard.
Okay.
I heard about the backlog, but I hadn't heard about the bill, no.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it. I mean, again, I don't think it answers a lot of the problems, but it looks like it might help. So again, if you know somebody who's sitting in there, that's a long time to wait. They can now go to their family doctor and get that started. So the faster, as a lot of us know, the faster we can get those processes moving, you know, the better we're all for that. And a bill that has not passed and is has come out of committee. So it passed committee, but then it's now going to be going to the full Senate of the state of Arizona. So if anyone's watching from Arizona, or if anyone, you know, somebody who lives in Arizona, this is Arizona Senate Bill 1284. I don't have a date on when they're going to be voting on this, but they will be. It is going up for vote. Basically, I encourage you to read the full bill and see what it all says, but summed up really quick, what the bill would allow any individual to file a discrimination lawsuit against a business is not when they're not in compliance with the federal ADA, only after first hiring a lawyer, giving the business written notice, and then giving the business 60 days to come into compliance. So basically it would be onerous on you as a disabled person if you're not able to access a building that the ADA, the federal ADA says you should be. You would have to go hire a lawyer, send a letter. Who has that kind of money, number one? I will link, there's 2 articles here, I will link them, so please, if you are in Arizona, if anyone knows in the chat room a date they're voting, I would love to hear that. Greg, did you want to say anything about this bill?
Well, no, just this is one of the latest things going around. It seems Arizona Republicans and many others are more concerned with what they see as frivolous lawsuits than whether or not people can access buildings or services. You know, so they'll complain about the lawsuits, but they won't do anything about the lack of access.
I'm curious how they, as a state, they can go around the ADA on that. If the ADA is federal?
ADA is federal, but I think they're merely setting the requirements for their own courts. So
Okay.
if you file, I mean, Arizona has its own legislation, guaranteeing access, I assume, so they're in compliance with the ADA. And I think this is about regulating their courts because they don't set the rules for federal court.
Okay. Yeah. It's too bad. If anyone hears of any more of these that are coming up, please send them to disabilitv@gmail.com. I'd really appreciate it. I'm just a regular person. I'm not a media specialist. So, I'm just looking at what you're looking at, and any information you can pass along, I'd really like to have. How's the chat room, Alice? Sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot there.
Hey there. No, the chat room is good. We have a couple of comments and some more questions. So I'll go through the comments first. We had one from Quicksilver8. Who says there's a large community in central LA of people with disabilities that are not in institutions but in the community now. The police department and EMT are great, so that's
Awesome.
good. And Hannah Smith LaFrenz says behavioral, medical, psychiatric features can often look like criminal or drug-induced behaviors to even the most trained and experienced people. Add a little stress and ignorance into the mix, and ...
Yeah.
So yeah, this is where we're starting. Not the most proactive place, definitely. Well, I mean, and in Savannah we had an issue. A young man was killed because he had I'm not sure some type of condition, and it wasn't addressed by the police, and he became violent and he was killed in police custody, or was shot. He died anyway. I'm not exactly sure the exact circumstances, so I I shouldn't overstep there, but yeah,
There's a wonderful film out right now. Well, it's obviously in limited release. It's an independent film by Leroy Moore and Emmett Thrower called Where's the Hope, about police violence against disabled people, and it's incredibly powerful. I know they have a YouTube channel, and Leroy's on Twitter, so I'd wholly suggest people check it out if they're interested in this issue and learning a bit more.
Awesome.
Thank you, Greg. I just wrote that down. I will add that later to the links down below too. Absolutely. Anything else there, Alice?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
S&G Endeavors Ltd says the governor of Ohio is privatizing a lot of care for persons with MR/DD. I'm not sure what that means, but
disabilities.
Okay, thank you. Instead of county-funded organizations, you face all that in Maryland and nationally. So is that a trend that's happening nationally, or does it seem to be pretty?
I've heard about it most prominently in relation to Kasich, but as far as I know, my reading of it when I first saw it was that it's a boon for these private care providers. I think it's being framed to protect, family caregivers, but I don't know that that's the way it works in practice, and I haven't heard enough about what's actually happening on the ground in Ohio to say.
That's interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. That's why I love the chat room. You guys know more than I do. So, was there anything else there, Alice? Or
yeah, there's one more quick
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Bozo the Clown says it's 2016 and the police have no plan when they meet a deaf person. So yeah, I guess you found out a lot about that from doing the ride along, that there was just like no like consideration of that scenario, and so
people have been shot in those situations.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we all walk around with T-shirts with our disabilities on them, right?
Right.
It's not practical, and it's a problem. I definitely want to read more about it myself. Luckily I live in a nice suburb, but again, I didn't really get the answer I was looking for either when I spoke to them. So yeah, a federal type of training program, I think it would be excellent. So at that, Greg, thank you so much for helping us out with the news. Greg came on. I just want to say, you know, this is our first episode. He didn't know who I was. I contacted him. I've been kind of following CryptoVote, the hashtag, and I said, hey, we're doing a show. Would you love to come on? And he was so gracious to come on and join us for the news. I would like to give you a proper introduction, though, because we're going to talk about your stuff now. So Greg has a PhD in education policy. He's an academic activist that has multiple learning disabilities that he might talk to us about. He just spent 2 years working in India, which I would love to talk to you about, but I know we're going to focus on CryptoVote today.
Appreciate that.
I'm sure you have great stories to tell. Yeah. So you and 3 other people, Andrew Palang and Alice Wong, have joined together. And would you like to tell us a little bit about how you guys came up with the idea for the hashtag CryptoVote?
Sure. I mean, we'd all been sitting around for months watching these, watching debate after debate. And I think, it came to about the 12th debate and there had been no mention of disability or disabled people, even though there were issues that would have logically led into it. And, we said we have to do something about this. So the idea was, Alice and Andrew both run wonderful websites, the Disability Visibility Project, which has been putting out the most incredible stories of disabled lives for about 2 years now. And Andrew's website is called Disability Thinking, which is also about disability politics and disability culture. And so we were trying to figure out a way, how can we get people to actively engage, both, within the disability community, because we heard people, it wasn't just us, grumbling that there was no disability in this election. And so, Alice suggested the hashtag, and it sort of took off from there. So the main focus of the project is to engage both the disability community, or actually amplify the disability community, and the political culture of the country,
right,
to bring disability issues into the election.
Go ahead.
No, we've had 2 chats so far, right before, I guess, the debates in early February on the 11th and the 13th. And the turnout was fantastic. I mean, we had, so many people from within the community, from such a wide range, come out, and it was really wonderful to see. And so there, people are concerned about these issues, and they've got, things they want the politicians to be talking about, but we're not really hearing it from them.
That's,
I should say, I know this is Bernie TV, but we're wholly nonpartisan.
Right.
And we don't, we're not here to promote any one candidate. We're here to get all the candidates speaking about disability, because whoever gets elected, they're going to need to deal with these issues, and we're going to want them to deal with these issues. So we, people have preferences, and we don't stop anyone from asserting their preferences on the hashtag. But we're looking to engage everyone in the campaign.
It's such an important thing. I'm middle-aged, and I've honestly haven't been really active in politics, kind of because of that. You feel like we're left out, that nobody ever really talks about us. And from my understanding, we are the largest minority group in America, if the numbers are correct. Yep. And nobody's talking about us. And it's that's kind of why this show is here. I want everyone, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, raise your voice and get it out there. And that's why I wanted you to come on and share about this hashtag.
Well, I mean, there are two campaigns that in recent memory that have worked to court the disability vote.
Oh.
George Herbert Walker Bush in 1988, was it? And the Obama campaign, and both won. So, you know, I don't think it's coincidence.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's interesting to know. Can I ask how you guys came up with Crip the Vote? I'm sure you've been asked this a million times.
You know, you'd have to ask Alice. I mean, I think I'd suggested something really boring before that, and she came up with that, and we all instantly said yes. I mean, it just made perfect sense to us. You know, it's catchy. It gets people's attention. So, and it's been generally well received. I mean, there's some people that had issues with the word Crip, and we've tried to engage it. I mean, I can understand there's some people that don't feel ownership of that. I think our view was largely that, you know, even if it's a term that's been directed at, you know, a small segment of the disability community, it comes on all of us to reclaim that language.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're happy to do it in this way, in such a positive, you know, I guess, venue.
So for this presidential campaign, your ultimate goal here with the hashtag?
To get people talking about disability issues, disabled people, to get people listening to disabled people. I mean, you know, we're here, as you said, we're the largest minority in the country, and, you know, we get the most superficial treatment in these campaigns. You know, one candidate introduces an autism platform or program, you know, whether you agree with it or not. Another candidate, you know, mocks us. Others demonize us, you know, in the name of, you know, avoiding dealing with gun control. We like real, actual discussions that involve disabled people, that take on our issues, and actually consider what we want from this country and what we want this country to do.
So all of us watching, what can we do to help get this word out?
Well, certainly, I mean, right now, over the next 24 hours, I guess, go to, CNN has a webpage where you can suggest questions and submit disability questions, you know, mention to them that there's twice the unemployment rate for disabled people as non-disabled people. Mention to them that, you know, that disabled people are more likely to be the victims of violence, you know, and ask what these candidates are going to do. I think, you know, I think the link to that's on our Facebook page as well. I don't know if it's on the Disability Visibility Project or Disability Thinking yet, but it's definitely on our Facebook page. And join us for our chats. We've got our next two chats in early March. I think the first one's on the 9th. And actually, it should be on that page you had up.
Yeah. We will have that linked for you, too.
Okay. And you can also join us. I think a bunch of us are going to be live tweeting the debate tomorrow night.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Can the hashtag, I'm clueless when it comes to Facebook. I'm just learning Twitter. Can the hashtag also work on Facebook? Will you see it?
As far as I know, it does. I don't really know Facebook particularly well myself. But as far as I know, they do have a hashtag system as well. But I think predominantly you'll find more on Twitter.
Awesome. Alice, were there any questions coming for Gregg?
Yeah, we did have a couple, and I really like this one. It's from Berg, our in-chat moderator, and the question is, what are the first priorities for the disabled American community that the next POTUS should really start with, and how to go about these priorities?
I mean, that's actually, I'm glad you asked that, because we're trying to figure this out. And one of the things we've done, and you can go to disability thinking for this is we put together a survey looking at what people's policy priorities are, and it's actually really tough because you see these issues lined up together, and they're all extremely important. But we want people to make those tough choices and try and determine what's most important to them. So you've got to rank them in one, and you've got to eliminate some in the other. So hopefully we'll have answers on that soon. I can't tell you, I can tell you my own, but
Yeah, what are yours? What are your priorities?
there are a few issues. I think unemployment, is appalling. I'd really love to see us get rid of the rules in the Fair Labor and Standards Act, which say disabled people can be paid 22 cents an hour or whatever the minimum they're allowing. And what else? Certainly, the issues we've already talked about, policing. I think mass incarceration is a huge issue.
Yeah.
32% of all federal inmates are self-identified as disabled.
Right.
So that's probably a conservative number. The number's at 85% if you look at youth detention facilities.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, our system of mass incarceration is doing real damage here. So I mean, there are tons of issues that are of incredible importance at the moment. But really, more than me, I want to hear what everyone else thinks. And so please go to Disability Thinking and take our survey.
It's very difficult. I took it and I was going because you have to choose 1 through 10, and I wanted them all.
Yeah, no, and you do. I'm looking at it and I couldn't believe what I had ranked 8th, and so yeah, it's a difficult thing to take, but it'll help us tell the political establishment this is what people care about.
That's so great you guys are doing that. I really,
And there are other, I mean, I want to promote Crypt the Vote, but there are other wonderful projects out there working on this as well. AAPD's started one, and Yo Disabled and Proud has started a youth vote project as well.
Nice.
So, check us all out. They've got, they're using, I guess, the hashtags Vote Disability and Rev Up.
Actually,
So try and use them all. We want as many people on these hashtags as possible. We want, we want to make it so the politicians can't ignore us anymore.
That's the most important thing right there. That we're here because often our elected officials aren't disabled and maybe they don't have a family member, they don't have experience, and a lot of what they decide affects our life directly. So we need to raise our voice.
It goes beyond the presidential elections too.
Yes,
I mean, you've got
local.
to pay attention to your local, state, congressional elections, because these are where the legislation is going to come from.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, the presidency is important, but you also need good representatives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Alice, was there another quick question?
Yeah, there's a question about what the websites are. So, Greg, do you have? Can you remind everybody what?
Let me see if I can pull them up right now.
Right. We had them also linked below. I believe, Greg,
got them both?
I pulled up the Disability Visibility Project.
Right.
That one.
The other one is disabilitythinking.com. And that's Andrew's website. Both are fantastic resources for the community and for educating people outside the community. So I'd read the archives as well, but they both have plenty of information on Crypt the Vote as well. Andrew on Disability Thinking has an incredible election guide that he's put together.
Nice.
And that has links to different websites with voter information, accessibility information, other projects that are going on. So
Yeah, we're not going to have time, but I did have a video, and I'll link this below too, that I highly recommend people check out. Oh gosh, now I'm not going to find it. It's from one of the sites you mentioned, and it is mentioning, it goes through the whole process of how to register to vote. If you have a disability where it makes it difficult for you to go into a booth, what are your rights? And I think that's so important because so many people might be scared to ask these questions, and therefore they might just stay home, and we really want them to get out there.
I got
And
that
they
one all ready to
vary by
go.
state, so make sure you check, because just because the ADA says access, each state has interpreted what that means and how to best approach that. So yeah, do know the rules for your state.
John, you have that video ready to go? Would we like to watch the video?
You guys want to watch? I
All
have
right,
it ready
all
to
right.
go. Let's watch it.
Okay, great.
We got time.
Okay.
Are you planning to vote?
Planning to vote.
Yes, I am planning to vote.
Yes, I am. Definitely planning to vote. I'm excited for my ballot to come in the mail.
I am planning on voting.
Yes, I am to vote.
Technically, I'm not able to vote, but when I do turn 18, I'm planning on, first of all, registering to vote. I plan on getting my ballot in the mail.
Why vote?
It's your opportunity to cast your opinion on how you want to see society run.
To have your voice heard.
Voting is definitely one of the major rights of an adult.
We've worked so hard to get our voting rights.
In America, we fought long and hard for a long time to vote. That's what we were fighting for, to be able to have democracy.
Should people with disabilities vote?
If people with disabilities or other marginalized groups aren't able to vote, then their voices aren't heard and their opinions aren't taken into consideration.
We're still people, we're still human beings.
It is the best option to make sure that we get our rights by voting on things that affect us.
There's a lot of things that our government has done that has either helped people with disabilities because of how people voted, and there's a lot of things that have been done that have hurt people with disabilities.
If you could get your voices heard, then you personally get more independence.
It's kind of our way into adulthood here, like, hey, we get to finally have a say.
Which is very important for people with disabilities, for everyone to be more engaged in their community.
We finally have a voice in what should happen and what things need to change.
What can my vote change?
Voting can affect the people that are representing you in our Senate and House.
Who we decide to elect to be leaders of our government.
I vote for president.
Judges are going to make decisions on cases and how laws should be interpreted.
Laws definitely make a change in people's lives.
New wheelchair ramps.
Healthcare needs.
Assisted suicide.
Some closed captioning on new devices.
If you have to start paying for parking.
Things can change and things get better.
So you can really make change both in your own community and then on the national level.
But I don't know how.
When you're a person with a disability and you think maybe sometimes you can't do things, especially vote on your own, you're not always alone, and you can always definitely ask somebody for help.
Ask your family and friend to help you.
You shouldn't be told because you have a disability that you can't vote, because that's just not true.
Step 1. Register.
Once you turn 18, register to vote at this link.
rootedinrights.org/disabilityvote.
Step 2. Research.
So learn about the issues.
There's a lot of resources online that talk about the different
Are you planning to vote?
I am planning to vote.
Yes, I am planning.
Disability vote.
Step 2. Research.
So learn about the issues.
There's a lot of resources online that talk about the different candidates.
There's town halls that you can go to learn about issues.
Watching the news helps me be aware of the larger elections.
There's talking to your community members.
there's videos that you can find that talk in more simpler language about different political issues.
Step 3, vote.
There are many, many ways to vote. You could go to a polling booth in person.
All voting locations are required to have at least one accessible voting booth. Accessible voting booths may be different depending on your county.
You could send it through the mail.
You can sign up to have your ballot mailed to you once you register to vote.
Nowadays, there are websites out there for voting through the internet.
Online voting and voting by mail are not available everywhere. Check our website to see if it's available in your county, state, or territory.
Voting is really easy.
Just click on that link.
Let's do this.
Vote.
That was a great video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to just throw that out there because I thought it covered pretty much a lot of questions anyone might have. What do you think, Greg?
And Rooted in Rights is a great organization. They've done a lot of things. Besides voting, they've done stuff on deinstitutionalization and employment, and definitely worth checking out their YouTube site, their webpage.
They had some great videos. That was their intro one, so I just wanted to share that. But please, go to their site and check out. They have so many videos that are so informational and helpful. I really like that. Alice, any quick comments? We're going to wrap up.
A lot of people are being super supportive about the show, really curious about these issues because I know for myself it's just not on the radar very much, and so thank you so much, Denise, for being here and spending time getting all this together because this is going to be so incredibly informative for everybody. So, yeah.
Well, thanks to you all for watching. I mean, you're the reason we're here. Otherwise, I'd just be talking to myself, and that's not good. So, I mean, and thanks, Alice, for moderating the comments, and huge thank you to Gregg Beratan for being here from Crypto Vote. I'm going to be following your hashtag and excited to see what comes up.
The more people that take the survey, the more we know.
So everybody out there, take the survey, have your friends take it, tell everyone you know, take the survey. Just really quick, I just want to, again, thank Erg and Ed in the background there in the chat room helping out, and I hope everybody had a great time. And I hope to be back. We'll have another episode, hopefully. It's a lot of work, so I'm going to do my best. Did you want to say anything really quick, Alice?
No, it was my pleasure to be here. This was a great experience and learned a lot. Thank you.
Great. And thank you, Bernie TV, for allowing us to do this. John and Janine, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to live stream this and have it there for everyone. We're going to close out with our full video. I just want to do a quick introduction. This was put together by our very own BTV, Steph Van Silfout. I practiced that last name. I'm sorry. He did the video and all the production, and the song itself is written by Hall Williams. Please watch to the end, the credits. Check out his other music. Hall wrote this song just for us. I from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Hall. The song is awesome. It will get stuck in your head, but it's a great song to have stuck in your head. I was singing it all day. So with that, thank you everyone for joining us for the first ever episode of DisabiliTV. Don't forget to send me email at disabilitv@gmail.com. Thank you, Greg and Alice, for joining us, and we'll go out with our song. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Doors wide open, looking to the ground. Time to jump, turn back around. rhythm. It's a game that we all play. I'm ready. Be who I am. I'm ready. Do the best I can. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready. Ready just to be me. Hear them talking shit as if they know which way to go down these so many roads. You go your way, I go mine. Maybe they'll come together some other times. I'm ready. Be who I am, I'm ready. Come if you can. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready. Just to be me. Hey, I'm ready. Be who I am, I'm ready. Do the best I can. I'm ready to be free. I'm ready. I'm ready. Just ready. Be who I am, I'm ready. Come if you can. I'm ready to be free.
Huge